The Nice House on the Lake, issue 6, James Tynion the Fourth and Alvaro Martinez on the art. And we obviously the end of the last issue was that Reggie was inside the creepy second house, right? The weird building with no entrance. And this issue, he has them come in. Now, not all of them know who he is. Some of them do, some of them don't, depending on, where in their lives they knew.
So it seems like, from what we know from Walter and his group of friends, if we think of them like concentric rings, right? Like, this is the first ring. So if Walter's in the middle, this was like the first group of friends, right? It was Reg and Norm and the other guy that we see, the photographer, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone else kind of comes in other concentric rings. And so I like that this is now focusing on that first group, and that's what this issue is.
Yeah, and like,
things in.
The issue starts with like him sort of enjoying the air and the rain, but it invites them all in, and obviously they're like, okay, you just said that we still have a chance to save the world, like explain yourself. And we see like inside this place, it kind of looks like the big foyer of like a building, like an office building, like a big foyer, but instead of having like foyer things, it's just a couch and like a bed and like whatever he's had in there. So he's been kind of still just living in here, and we find out that he's like had the transcripts. Like he's not doing them, but he's been reading them. So
they're printing out on like this old style printer.
Yeah, so it's kind of tying in that mechanic that we've been seeing into the plot a little bit, which is nice. And I got super nostalgia here when we started seeing the chat windows, because it looked like Windows XP, and that was like my first computer, Windows XP. So a lot of this one is a little bit more flashback heavy. Because it gets into this teenage time in their lives, and it sets up that Reggie, like Walter, revealed that he was attracted to Reggie, and Reggie kind of turned him down. We're still friends, but it's a little bit awkward, and that's kind of what they're talking about a lot in these flashback stories. But what this turns out to be is like Walter did reveal to them who he was to an extent. It didn't explain everything, but he said a lot of it, and. We find out that he told them, in fact, he told Reggie multiple times, but every time he told them, he erased his memory.
Yeah, he did the blinky thing from Men in Black.
Yeah.
So we get this sort of backstory where we see their dynamic and their interaction with each other. And this was really strong character work, where it's like, oh, I kind of want to tell you guys something. Can we hang out this weekend? And they're kind of worried that it's going to be more romantic stuff. Like, is this going to be awkward? Are you trying to like make a move on him again or something? Because Reggie does seem to be quite cool with it and is kind of like letting it go, but we get like the sense of humor and stuff that they're kind of joke, because the third guy's not gay, so they're kind of like joking him about him being the pet hetero and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good back and forth in the character work. So you really get a sense of who they were at this time, and every so often it comes back to this stuff, and the other characters, like, I don't remember any of this, like these conversations are building up to this weekend, and Walter tells them that the world's going to end, right? Not like in the next couple of weeks. It's got a couple of decades, right? Which lines up, but this whole thing's an experiment, and it's like he has to get a group of exceptional people who will prove to be a good focus group. And Reggie's theory, based on like what he was told there, is that if they're not being that functional, and they're not, they're kind of like trying to break out and they're fighting and the things aren't going super well, that maybe they've not proven to be an adequate group yet, so therefore the actual world-ending event has not been triggered. Like, they've not done it yet because they've not actually found the right group, potentially.
Yeah.
Right. And also the way that Norm, who's the writer, had described the end of the world, how he thought it was going to end, is what we saw back at the end of the first issue.
Yeah.
With the skin globs, and just, you tell Tynion was having a lot of fun with that character of describing, some super gross body melting stuff. But it's where it was super interesting was that's the version that they saw, but it didn't register with them at the time. At least if it did, we didn't get that perspective.
I think they're a bit too caught up in the horror of it.
Yeah, that too. But it was the other artist that picked up on the end of the world scenarios because of all the talks that she had with Walter.
And it's worth mentioning as well as that conversation in this book it's a fairly throwaway, just jokey conversation. Because it turns into, it's all goop, nothing but goop. I'm an expert on goop. But it's just this jokey, stupid, dumb teenage conversation. So You totally buy that he would remember he said this.
No,
Like,
yeah, I know,
yeah.
but I just thought it was interesting too that as they're starting to piece things together, that might be something that pops back up, because the like Reg pointed out, because again, why would Walter keep Reg away? Like, I know that he cares about Reg, right?
Well, I think that's my speculation
Yeah.
as to why he kept. I don't think Reggie's supposed to be part of this experiment anymore, but Walter wanted to keep him alive, so he sort of hid him in a separate little compartment.
Yeah, and that's my thing. And now that because they're not functional, and because the photographer went and found the second house while enduring, this is what's throwing the wrinkles into everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then at the end of this, that they're all memory wiped, and it's back to square one.
Yeah, because Walter shows up and is like,
which. Yeah.
You think this is going to have you think you're going to challenge the system here and get like an outcome, but it's not going to work. He tries to tell them that it's all futile, and wipes them all. And which the last page shows that Reggie's now part of the household. Like he's now been incorporated into the experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And they clearly just think he's been there the whole time.
Yeah. And I wasn't expecting him to wipe everyone because we're halfway through the story now, and I thought, oh, maybe like that'd be turning things back too much. But then again, I have no idea what they're doing for the rest of this. So
I think that's still interesting because we know a lot now, so we'll be picking up on things still. So it's fine for us as a reader. I don't think it'll be frustrating.
Right.
Maybe if it did this a lot, but it's this is the first time it's done this. It kind of gets to pull that, and I think we've got a break for a few months now to kind of sit on this.
Yeah, it's a decent. This is a decent issue to have a break after, but because
it's not too cliffhangery, right?
No, but
there's a little bit one.
But it interests a lot to the story to let us mull over and kind of. I do think it may be worth rereading the first 6 before the 7th one hits.
Probably.
It's pretty dense.
Things together.
Yeah. But good stuff.
Yeah, this one definitely felt like Lost to me in that way, where you think you have everything figured out? We're gonna reset things, and now it's a new. Yeah,
it's worth mentioning that a lot of what we hear in this is kind of Reggie's speculation, so I suspect that it's partially true, but there's probably some of it he's getting wrong.
Because we do know that Reg knows a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Like because he went years without being mind wiped in the same way, like knowing a lot of this stuff. Like I say, he helped design some of it. He's kind of been in on it. So I suspect most of it's true, I would think. But maybe there's some details, some things, some motivations that's where he's wrong.
Yeah. So I'm very curious. I think it's making the mystery more intriguing. And one of the things that's maybe sometimes hard with stories like this is that the more you reveal stuff, it might start to feel like it's losing its luster, or maybe it's getting like to try and keep up the mystery. It becomes more convoluted, and I think this is kind of keeping the same like core few ideas that are making up the mystery and jumble them up a little bit in the sense that, okay, well, we kind of understand this part now, but there's that maybe a different reason for it than before, or maybe the idea that this could just be a trial run for the real thing, so it's not actually like. These are some interesting things to throw into the mix here. There's some interesting wrenches been thrown in. So art's really nice. The flashback where he tells them what's going on, and it's also like his face but split up into the different panels.
Yeah, I thought that the flashback art too is subtly different than the current day stuff too. Like there's slightly different coloring and inking and stuff in it, so it makes it feel distinct. And I was like, is this still bueno? Like,
I think it is. Yeah.
No, it is. But as I was reading it, it made me second guess. That's how much it was changed. But it was still close enough. But
just that shift, it just makes it feel different.
Yeah, and I like that. So
yeah, and this is definitely the most flashback heavy issue because like it just goes back to those extended flashbacks for like probably a good 2/3 of it. But it's good stuff, and you're kind of excited to see how these other characters are going to. I mean, I think the fact that one of the characters has tried to kill themselves. Right, and they've kind of figured out that they can't, is a clear sign that this group is breaking down, that this isn't working.
Yeah, definitely not stable.
Yes, which was the word that was used, a stable group. But he did mention that they'll have to be exceptional in their field, so it kind of like ties back into why we have these 12 roles that are distinct.
To justify it, yeah.
But if Reg is in the house now, that means we have 2 artists too.
Yeah.
So how's that gonna offset things.
And what does that say? That maybe there should be
Are there two artists in there?
But the other one disappeared.
Did we see the other one still there at the end? I don't remember.
No, but you would remember that the reason that she was invited is because Reg couldn't make it. And so the fact that Reg couldn't make it, to me, means Walter had already secluded him away.
Right, but now that he's included,
Yeah, but now, now that he's there, maybe she's gone.
Maybe.
Maybe
but
she's.
if that's the case,
maybe she's in the room.
First, right, maybe, and that's she was the first character we were introduced to, and we know she was by the statue at the beginning. When it looks like everything's gone to shit.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe she's in the weird second building now.
Maybe
she'll eventually break out. Yeah, so, but maybe not. Maybe we'll find out. Presumably when it comes back. I do think I'm going to try and read the first 6 issues again right before issue 7 hits, though, because I feel like there's so many details and characters moving around. All right, no, really good issue. Good place to leave it. If you have to have a break, it was a good one to leave it on. So, Matt, what are you giving Nice House in the Lake issue 6?
8.5.
Connor.
I'm going to give it an 8.
8.5. I'll agree with Matt on this.